Welcome to the party, pal. Your friendly neighborhood Master Chaos back with you once again. It is Friday. It is our 13th daily vlog. And to celebrate such an auspicious number, we have a very, very special episode in mind. It's getting ridiculous now. Paparazzi keep following me around. They always want to find out where Master Chaos is. Well, they found me all right. They found me. It's landing now. I better get out of here. They're gonna want autographs. Before I hit the Topanga Canyon hike, I must decide between my regular hat or a more appropriate one. I think the decision is clear. We are deep in the woods, my friend, and since this is our 13th episode, I figured it would be the best time to celebrate Jason Voorhees, especially after Scream Factory dropped that astounding box set, which I will be picking up and reviewing when it arrives in October. But for now, let's take a look at the Ultimate Edition DVD collection from Crystal Lake to Manhattan, plus the individual DVDs that continue the franchise from this point. Got some older shoes on for this hike. Needed a little bit more padding than my other muddy shoes, but unfortunately, I think I just stepped in shit. There's a crow laughing at me up there, but I'm going to ignore him. Ah, there he is. Yeah, well, too bad. We're talking Friday the 13th, Part 1, and Friday the 13th, Part 2. The first two discs of this set. No real features at all. I don't need to go into the stories, but if you, for some reason, would like to pause, that's Part 1, and that is Part 2. Oh my god, Dolby Digital English mono and French mono? Well, I really hope the Scream Factory set brings that to bear, because I want to be able to hear that in gorgeous Blu-ray goodness. Anyway, Friday the 13th, the first one, is of course a classic. I'm not going to go into the details of the movies, of course you know them. The first one is unique because, spoilers, Jason is not the killer. It's Jason's mom. Yes, I know. Everybody knows that, but I'm just saying it anyway. And then, of course, Part 2 is when we first see Jason, also known as Baghead Jason. Great movie. They're both fantastic films. Two stellar knockouts here on this slim case. The first discs from the original DVD set. Found him. There he is. Everyone's a critic. You might be wondering why we're in Topanga Canyon here in California. Well, part of my favorite Friday the 13th film, the final chapter, that would be Part 4. I'm sure most of you know that, but part of Part 4 was filmed out here in Topanga Canyon, so this is as close as we can get to being on Crystal Lake property. I think they filmed in a private house, so we cannot shoot there, but we can be near it and spiritually surrounded in the woods. I should also mention that Part 3 was filmed in California. Not in Topanga per se, but in the surrounding area. So the California wilds are very much a part of Jason history. And as we overlook this really bizarre looking toxic lake kind of thing, I figured we'd discuss Part 3 and 4. Part 3, of course, is the famous film where Shelley gives, inadvertently, Jason his hockey mask look. And part 4, the final chapter, my favorite of the early years before he became a zombie, is where Jason battles none other than Corey Feldman. This one actually has some special features, a commentary, and this one does not. That's interesting that part 3 was given some commentary and some special features, but the other one was not. This to me is the better movie. It has the better final girl too. I'm a big fan of this young lady right here. Good movies here. This is really when the series hit its stride, in my opinion. And then of course they were silly enough to call part 4 the final chapter, when we all know Jason, he's out there somewhere to this day. I should also mention the 300 subscriber contest going on right now. If I reach 300 subscribers before August 1st of 2020, then I will make a donation to a subscriber. I will pick a subscriber at random, and I will make a $20 donation to a charity of their choice. I will also probably do this live to prove that I have done it, because I don't want it to be getting around that Master Chaos does not keep his word. I keep my word. I hope you keep yours. This dusty trail here somehow brings to mind our next movies. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning, and Part 6, Jason Lives, which is, for me, Part 6 is really the beginning of Jason as we all know and love him, a zombie killing spree loving monster with a heart of gold. Now, I mentioned this path because this is a new path that sort of jittered off from where we were. It's a new beginning. And, of course, what's at the end of the path? Well, that's a mystery. And A New Beginning, for those, well, I won't spoil it, for those who don't know, has quite a twist ending, which to me really sets it aside from the franchise, and ultimately I think hurts it, because while it does have some amazing kills, I'll give it that, it has great kills, it's also very disappointing in the long run. It doesn't really add anything to the mythos that we expected to see added onto what little there is. Of course, Jason Lives, one of my favorites. I know a lot of people argue about Jason wearing gloves, gardening gloves. I think it's a stellar film and really creates Jason as we know him. This is the back, in case you choose to pause. I know most of you guys know this movie. No special features except my favorite, Jason Lives, does have a commentary by Tom McLaughlin, the director. And he's a really nice guy too. Part 6, great, really good final girl. Continues the Tommy Jarvis series. Actually really finishes it. A New Beginning continues the Tommy Jarvis saga. Finds him as a teenager. And then Jason Lives, he's an adult, and he's trying to take Jason out. All in all, Part 6 is my favorite. Part 5 is very forgettable. You can actually even skip it if you've never seen it. Well, I mean, unless you want the gore, in which case watch it for the gore. Up next, a pretty solid double. Part 7, The New Blood, and Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. I mean, ostensibly, The New Blood is where the series jumps the shark. Jason goes up against a telekinetic girl, and it sort of becomes a superhero versus supervillain movie. But it's a ton of fun. It's undeniably a great movie. And then Jason Takes Manhattan. Of course, Jason is barely in Crystal Lake, and he's also barely in Manhattan. He's mostly on a boat, which I don't know how he could spend most of his time hiding on a boat, being a hulking zombie monster, but he is. And ultimately, it's not a bad movie. It's actually quite a good deal of fun. I don't know how you guys feel about it. The back here, there's an audio commentary with Kane Hodder, of all people, the director, John Carl Buechler. And then Jason Takes Manhattan also has a commentary. So it looks like the later ones get some goodies, but the earlier ones do not. But New Blood, really fun. And Part 8, for the most part, is really fun. It's really bizarre, but you know, for the most part, it's a really good watch. It's definitely better than Part 5. And then, of course, this is the end of the franchise as we know it, in a perfect world, because after this, Jason goes to Hell. I should also mention that that box set includes this Killer Extras disc. I apologize for the wind, of course. Again, I can't control those things. This includes the Friday the 13th Chronicles, an 8-part featurette, Secrets Galore Behind the Gore, 3-part featurette, Crystal Lake Victims Tell All, Tales from the Cutting Room Floor, Friday Artifacts and Collectibles, and scary trailers. And I'm 100% sure this all will be on the Scream Factory mega release in October. Let's take a moment here to thank a few subscribers and give them some shout outs. Ernie McCracken, thank you. Joe A., welcome to the party. Walter Sobchak, thank you so much. Creeping Menace, thank you so much for all your comments. The Trash Stash, I love your stuff. You have a great channel. Horror and Taj, thank you. Horror Hands, thank you so much. You also have a fantastic channel. Comics and Ska, thank you so much. And Undead Nightmare 24, thank you, buddy. As we walk along this old rotted fence line here, let's talk about the most contentious film in the franchise, Jason Goes to Hell. Now, I say contentious because technically it is a Friday the 13th movie, but they couldn't even call it Friday the 13th. They call it Jason Goes to Hell, and it essentially reimagines Jason as a worm demon from hell, something like that, and he has the power to possess people, which is something we've never seen him do before. As far as we knew, he was just a little boy who drowned and somehow magically grew up and had super huge muscles and killed people. But now, this movie tells us he is a demon from hell, and he can possess you just by somehow hypnotizing you into eating his heart or letting a worm be vomited into your throat. It's definitely a unique explanation of Jason's otherworldly powers. Not necessarily a bad film. It's actually really enjoyable. I enjoy it. But it's very much an outside-the-box type of movie. This edition is the only thing I've got. I don't have this on Blu-ray. I have none of the movies on Blu-ray, so I'm excited to get the Scream Factory box. We've got commentary and the Jump to a Death feature, which is always fun for parties to just get to the good stuff. And this movie definitely has a lot of good, memorable scenes. What do you guys think about Jason Goes to Hell? I'm curious. Well, my friend, our path leads down these rickety steps right here. And while we tread our way gently, let's discuss the rickety path that the Jason franchise took with Jason X. You know, I called Jason Goes to Hell contentious, but I do believe Jason X is also probably even more so, even more contentious. And probably for good reason, because, well, Jason goes to space. And that's not a thing you normally associate with Jason. This film, however, is quite a good deal of fun. This is the special features on this release. Jim Isaac and Todd Farmer, they did a great job. Director and writer, respectively. Here we get, what do they call him? Mecha Jason? I forget what the name for this super future Jason was. But not a bad movie. Really a lot of fun. If you can sort of swallow the idea that it's the future and Jason finds himself on a spaceship. Not a terrible movie by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, it's a good deal of fun. And I think this is the type of franchise where you sort of have to turn off your brain and not allow logic to kind of supersede your viewing enjoyment. But Jason X, definitely a fun film. I would call it a worthwhile entry. Obviously more than part 5 because, well, again, I don't want to give spoilers, but you know why. This is a fun movie. I really enjoyed this film, and of course, Kane returns to don the mask and the new mask. So, I highly recommend this one, and I'm looking forward to seeing this one particularly on Blu-ray. The most exciting entry in the franchise of the later part, of course, was Freddy vs. Jason. everybody and their mother were looking forward to Freddy vs. Jason. Who didn't want to see Freddy vs. Jason? I mean, there's still talk of wanting to do versus Michael Myers versus Ash, all these things. I don't know that will ever happen. This wasn't that huge of a hit. But we'll see. We'll see. Things are fluid, especially now that film franchises have interconnected universes. You never know. You never know what will happen. Freddy vs. Jason, fun film, not great by any means. Let me see if I can get my shadow out of here so you can look at that a little better. Those are the features. Most of you know what it is anyway. I don't want to tell you the story. But somehow, whoa, I dropped it. That's a first, by the way. That is a first. I'm going to wipe that down. But that's okay. I'm getting the Blu-ray, which I will not be bringing on a hike with me. Fun movie, directed by Ronnie Yu. Ronnie Yu, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Ronnie Yu. Great filmmaker. Has a amazing series of movies. The Bride with White Hair. I believe there's 2 of them. Good movies. And this is really fun. It's got the typical stupid teenagers, and maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense. But again, turn your brain off and just kind of enjoy the ride, like you're on a roller coaster full of blood and guts, and now you're gonna have a good time. That's what these movies are made for, right? They're not made to be put on the Criterion Collection. They're made to be enjoyed while drinking and eating popcorn. Now, which way should I go? Dead Horse or that way? Maybe that way. I found this bridge here. It's not connected to Friday the 13th, but it looks like it might be from one of the scenes in the franchise. I believe maybe part 3 or part 4. And I found this culvert, which I assume is usually full of water. I kind of want to go walking down there, but I kind of don't. As we gaze out over the beautiful Santa Monica Mountains, let's discuss the very contentious and the last, and in my opinion not the least, of the Friday the 13th movies. This is, of course, Friday the 13th, the remake, produced by Michael Bay, of all people. Not a horrible movie, in my estimation. It tries to cram in parts 1, 2, and 3 into one cohesive movie, and to be honest, there's not much story in the franchise. They can easily pull that off. And I love the cast. Danielle Panabaker is in this. Jared Padalecki. Derek Mears plays Jason. He does a great job. Not many features on this one. Additional deleted scenes and explore the rebirth of Jason. Not a lot going on. This is the killer cut, which is, I don't remember how many minutes longer, but I really enjoyed this movie. I know a lot of people hate the remake. I know we can universally hate remakes, but there are good ones out there. Of course, John Carpenter's The Thing, and the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street was really good. Okay, you got me. I'm kidding. Of course, the remake of Nightmare was horrendous garbage, but this I don't think deserves hate. I think it's actually a really wonderful movie for what it is. Again, it's sort of a turn your brain off and enjoy. I mean, Jason kills kids in the woods. What else did we expect from a remake? I wonder what your thoughts are on the film, on the remakes, but in particular. I rather enjoyed this one. Incidentally, did you notice where I bought this from? This is when the Blockbusters were going out of business, and so I always have this sticker on here as a memory of the good old days. I'll be honest, there is something a bit creepy about these woods in particular. I have never hiked to this trail before. Maybe that's it. There's something very eerie about this place. I did get stung by something on my arm a while back. I'm not sure if it was a bee or a spider. I didn't see what it was, but my arm is currently smarting. I think I'm going to head home before any kind of neurotoxin sets in. As we wind our way down this lonely path, my friend, I do want to say thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. I hope this video finds you happy, healthy, and well. If you enjoyed this hike and talking about the films of Mr. Jason Voorhees, I would appreciate a thumbs up. It'd be quite kind of you. And if you like this type of content, I've got daily vlogs. Physical Media Exercise is a daily show. So consider subscribing, and I invite you every day to come get some fresh air with me and some random set of movies as well. The parking lot beckons up ahead. I'm headed home to enjoy my J&B whiskey. If you saw yesterday's episode, you know what I mean. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the trail tomorrow. Be well.